No, I'm not putting this on the Patreon.
You're not putting it on YouTube either. Hello and welcome to another episode of Mildly Informed with me, Chris Skinner. Oh my God, that's a bad start. That's not my name.
What's it like being Chris Skinner? Because it feels to me the first thing you experienced when you introduced yourself as Chris Skinner was regret.
Yeah, it was regret. And then I suddenly realised, no, pass over the regret because I want to really annoy my mate Richie.
Oh my God, Richie. Now, who's he?
He's a really funny guy.
Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Richie Firth. I'm a really funny guy. I am here from my hotel room in Manchester, where I've just done a live show for, I can't remember what it was for now.
Tell you what, let's go 3, 2, 1, click our fingers and let's change back into the other person. 3, 2, 1.
Hiya.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. I'm very well. It's a Thursday night record again, which means anything goes.
It is a Thursday night record, and I'm not even at home. I'm in Manchester because I've just been doing a thing for Absolute Radio for our charity, Cash for Kids.
Richie just told me that.
Yeah. I am in a hotel in Manchester. One thing I will tell you, whenever I am booked into a hotel on a solo trip, there's something that always happens, and it has happened again tonight, and it's really freaky. I've been put in an accessible room.
Oh, you mean like one that fits wheelchairs in?
Correct, yeah. I was really looking forward to a bath, and I don't have that. I've just got a massive wet room.
I guess you could fill it with water and see what happens.
I'm on the 9th floor, so I don't think they'd like me on the 8th, 7th, 6th, and so on.
Well, maybe you should ask to change your room.
Do I look like a person that asks to change rooms? Do I look like a person that does conflict or does awkward conversations like that?
You look like the sort of person who stores up the anger and then goes on a podcast called Mildly Informed and has a good old moan about it after.
No. Well, I'm not moaning about it. It's just more the bad luck for me. But it is wonderful that accessible rooms are a thing.
Quick flash survey. How many stars are you giving your hotel stay?
So far, 3. But like it's early doors. I've not slept here yet. Not had
Room
a hotel
service?
breakfast. Bloke on reception was nice.
Okay, that's not room service, but I mean, it might be.
It won't be. Chris, how's your week been?
I'm not going to tell you about it until you told me about yours.
Well, can I give you an update, first of all, on something that we reviewed last week, and that was the concept of having a loft, because I was getting my loft renovated, not a full-on conversion, but just cleared out and boarded so it could be used a little bit more effectively. And I was very excited about it. Exactly, trains. And Chris, I now have boarding down in the loft, and the Hornby can happen. Now, my wife does want to store a fair bit up there. That's fine. But the Hornby is going to happen. I'm going to turn into that guy that we were talking about on the last episode. However, the men that were clearing out the loft found something. They found something. And it's one of the grimmest sights I've seen. Okay.
Now, I have a grim thing I can tell you about what I found in my loft when I first moved in.
Mm-hmm.
I can say what it is, and then you can tell me if it's more grim than that.
Okay.
Ready?
Go.
Used condom.
Oh, it's not as grim as that. It's more graphic than that.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh.
So, here's how we're going to do this. I am going to send you a WhatsApp, a picture of what has been found in the loft by the gentlemen that were clearing it out. You can then react to it. You might even be able to share it with the Patreon, but you can react to it so that people get to hear your reaction, and then we'll talk about what was found in the loft after the renovations.
Before you do, what was the adjective you just used to describe it?
Grim.
Grim. No, okay. I can put it on the screen in the actual YouTube version of the show if you'd like.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Well, you haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Tell me when it's sent.
Right, I'm going to hit send now.
Okay, my notifications are off, so I'm just going to...
Preparing media. Now it's sent. Blue ticked.
No! No! I'm not putting this on the Patreon.
You're not putting it on YouTube either. We're getting the account taken down.
No! Wow. The look on the 4 of diamonds. No.
I'm now looking for the 4 of diamonds. Where's the 4 of diamonds?
No.
Oh my God. I mean,
wow, the Jack of Spades is having... Is that a police uniform on the King of Diamonds?
Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Yeah.
How is that Lilo staying afloat on the 5 of Hearts?
I forget that these are all new to you. They are not mine. They are not mine. They belong to the previous owner of the house. And she's obviously left them there. Because they're not mine.
How do you know they're not Natalie's?
They're not hers. No one had been up there. We just stored stuff around the hatch. They're not ours.
I've got to stop looking.
So you're the producer of this podcast. We can't visually share that with any of our friends, can we?
We are not pornographers, Rich.
You may or may not have worked out. They were naughty playing cards.
I mean, naughty is such an understatement. This is graphic and hardcore. This is not titillation. Yeah. I mean, some of those angles and close-ups. No, I'm going to put it away again. Holy moly.
Yeah. So I can't remember how many stars I gave the Loft last week, but I mean, it's blacklisted now. It's horrific. I mean, it's a tawdry loft. Don't know what was going on up there.
Strip poker.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
I can't believe what you just said. No one has ever, I think sometimes girls think that their sort of straight male friends are the sort of guys who share the kind of image that you just shared with me all the time. Yeah. That is by some margin, by a billion miles, the most graphic thing anyone has ever sent me on text message.
And I should clarify that is by a billion miles back at you, the most graphic thing that I have ever shared via text message.
I'm genuinely astonished. And isn't it weird that both of us have found grubby things in the loft?
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you found the condom.
Yeah. I mean, like, you and me, we have a podcast studio and a train set. That's the sort of guys we are.
Oh dear. So what am I reviewing? I'm reviewing pornography, to be quite frank.
You are? I don't know. Do you want to review the 8 of clubs? I wouldn't go there.
I am reviewing pornography. It's getting it's getting a star. It serves a purpose for someone, but my word, what I found up in my loft, I don't know whose home that is.
That star, I think, is actually being used to blur out something that you would otherwise not want to see.
That's a very good point. Chris, I feel really bad because I know there's been stuff going on in your week this week, and whatever you want to talk about next is going to feel ever so tame compared to the hardcore porn in my loft.
You're absolutely right, Rich. But that said, what I did this week did include me gyrating my hips enthusiastically at work colleagues. So
interesting.
It was my work Christmas party.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I had a great time. We went to, I think it's Bloomsbury Bowling, it's called. And we did bowling. And there were people doing darts and pool. And there was food. And there was karaoke. Oh, Rich, there was karaoke. I think you're a karaoke guy, aren't you?
Yeah. I've got a good voice.
Yeah. I don't have a good voice. I have a powerful voice, but not a good voice.
I've heard you sing, and you commit,
Mm.
but what you don't do is commit to a tune.
No, no. I think it's about vibe more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I did Don't You Want Me Baby by the Human League, where I basically
Solid.
only sang one line of the song on repeat for the whole 3 minutes. I did with your and my friend Catherine. I did from Dirty Dancing. I've had the time of my life, including the lift.
Wow, wow. I mean, once again,
Yep.
that backs up what I just said. You commit.
Yeah, really did. And I did Stay Another Day by E17,
Seasonal.
where I did the proper Terry the Roofer gyrating those hips.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing it, and then I realized I was doing it at nobody, and then thought I should probably do it as somebody. So I did it in the direction of, again, another friend of ours, a man called Ollie, who probably saw me grinding a little bit closer than he should have done.
But probably
But it's
enjoyed
nothing worse than he's done to me in the past.
No.
So I love karaoke. So I haven't done karaoke for a while. And it was such a brilliant experience. There was about 20 of us in the booth. Now I was of the 20, I probably was a Europa League in terms of volume of singing, in terms of amount of songs sung. I wasn't a dominator, but I got stuck in. There were some people who were there not to sing, but they chuckled and they laughed away and they had a really good time. There were some people who were just almost on the mic every second song, it felt. But what fun. What brilliant fun. It didn't matter if they were good singers, bad. When someone was really good, always got a cheer until about a minute and then we all got bored. But it was so good. And I know you're into it. And I don't think you and I have ever done it together.
I'd love to go to karaoke together.
Mate,
I think that would be absolutely great fun.
you, me, and our friend, the special one, we often do themed nights out together. We've done lots of activities. I think the next one has to be you and me singing together. Like and Boy Wonder, we need to go and do karaoke together
I'd be really up for that. I'd be really up for that. I've never done like organized karaoke at like a venue, like
in a booth. Yeah,
at a booth, like obviously what you were doing. What did you find that their database was like? You know, if there was a
strong.
song that you wanted to sing, you found it, yeah.
I found every song I wanted to sing. I might have been keeping my selections quite. I think I was conscious that I didn't want to just do something obscure. I wanted to keep it pretty mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it ticked all the boxes. I mean, unless you want to do, I mean, I tell you an important test as someone who I always like doing, but I didn't do this week was Chaz and Dave. I didn't check if they had Chaz and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a whole bunch of sort of playlists you could pick from. So they had power ballads and they had duets and they had.
Did they have any craft work?
Again, I didn't want to lose the room, so I didn't look.
Karaoke's great fun. Surely you're going to score this highly.
Mate, it is a full-on 5 stars. 5 stars for karaoke. I urge, if you see yourself as not a karaoke person, but you love music, I'm afraid you're wrong. Anyone who loves music, anyone who sings at home on their own with their kids, the joy of belting out into my friend and not caring how tuneful you are, but just giving it your enthusiasm is such a pleasurable experience. And I say, for those when people get a bit shouty, no, that's not great. But otherwise, it is so lovely and joyous. I just can't recommend it highly enough.
Let's call it for what it is. When you think back to the peak days of X Factor, Pop Idol, those shows always got a bit more boring. Fame Academy, yes. All got a bit more boring when it got to the final stages of things, when like it was the good singers that had been found and you were trying to find the winner. Yeah. It was good when you were seeing people that were shite. And then they were mixed in with people that were good because there was that element of jeopardy. You didn't know what someone was going to be like. And even if they were slightly off, it was still kind of funny. And really what that was televised karaoke. We just weren't seeing the words as the audience. But you're getting the chance to laugh at people singing badly. And that's what karaoke is. And that's what those programs are. It's televised karaoke. No wonder they made money out of it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I tell you what, Should we sing ourselves? Should we sing to each other during this ad break?
Why not?
Wow, Rich, I can't believe you sound just like Carol Decker.
Thank you very much. It's such a shame that you didn't ask if the model was available, because you are Kraftwerk impersonated.
It's the accent, mate. Apparently, it's not offensive. Rich, tell me something else that's happened to you this week.
Chris, I've been in Manchester for the last 24 hours, and they have trams here. And I really think it's a shame that trams haven't come back as much as they have here in Manchester. And I know there are other cities in the UK that have trams. Off the top of my head, Sheffield has trams, Nottingham has trams, Edinburgh has trams, Croydon has trams. A very good point. Obviously,
Wimbledon.
Famously, this Croydon is the Croydon tram link. It goes out to Wimbledon, so that's what I'm including. Blackpool, obviously, home of the tram. But other than that, that's around about it. You're pulling up stumps for trams, and I think they're fantastic. And when you look at the fact, right, I don't want to go too trans.
Hang on. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Why is a tram better than a bus?
A tram is better than a bus because it's able to go faster than a bus when it is on its own designated rail bit, when there aren't roads. Obviously, a tram kind of becomes a little bit bussy when it's sharing the roads with all the buses and the cars and all that kind of stuff. But then suddenly it can pick up speeds. There's something exciting about that. Something exciting about the fact that you can be sat right behind the driver, kind of like DLR vibes if you're going around in London and you're seeing the tracks ahead of you. Those are the cool fun things about the tram. But when you actually, I'm making a serious point here. When you actually look back to the 60s, when so many of the railway lines were closed across the UK, and now so many of these lines... Could you try again? Shut up, Apple Watch. So many of these lines we're kind of wishing were opened back up, but roads have been built instead, or buildings or multiplex cinemas and all that kind of stuff. And you look at how crammed city centres are, why don't we have more trams? Put down the railways. You can have the trams running on them. You can still have buses and selected vehicles and all that kind of stuff, but don't let roads get in the way. Let's bring the trams back. I think it's fantastic. I love the sound of a tram going through a city centre, just suddenly hearing a little boop, boop. It's great. It's a tram. It's fantastic. It's part of our history. Why are we so reluctant to bring back the tram?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know the reason. I understand it's popular in every city it exists in. It should be that. I work right by where the big tram subway is at Holborn. You know, where they would go underground.
Yes,
I'm obsessed with that place. I'd love to get a tour. I'd love to go under there and see what's down there.
I've seen a TV program about that called Secrets of the London Underground. And yeah, there used to be an underground double-decker tram network in London. That's how big they were.
Yeah.
I find it's frustrating. You even think in sort of like popular culture, evil Alan Bradley in Coronation Street killed by a tram on Blackpool seafront after years of tormenting Rita Fairclough. How did he come to his end? A tram. So many people couldn't get him, but a tram did.
Hang on. One of your cases for trams is the road death of a fictional TV character.
I'm saying that if you bring trams back, there's so many sudden new parts of soap operas and things that can come in.
I mean, that was not the angle I was expecting you to take, but yeah, let's go with it. You know, let's all campaign, for the end of domestic violence. And how are we going to do that? Trams.
My argument is loose and it needs some work if I was due to become the public face of the tram. Yes. But I think the point that I am making is a solid one.
I'd love you to be the public face of trams.
The Minister for Trams.
So what's your tram review?
My tram review is 5 stars because unless you are Alan Bradley, the one-time tormentor of Rita Fairclough from Colorado.
Didn't need a second reference.
It does, because unless you are him, I don't see the downside to trams. Even you, one of the most truculent people that I know, is not finding a single negative to trams. I'll give you 3 seconds. Right. They scare you.
When I'm in Edinburgh, I don't think to look.
I've literally just said that their warning sound is cute. It goes poop poop. Oh, that's not scary. That's on you. That's not on the trams.
I'm prepared to accept that. And if I was a long-term Edinburgh resident, rather than just spending like a few weeks a year there, I'd probably get over it.
So even you don't have a negative for trams?
Even me.
You've taken umbrage at the phrase even, I can tell you have. I am giving trams a 5-star review, and if any political party is listening, I would happily become the UK face of trams. I would compromise my political leanings to align myself with whatever party needs for me to be the face of trams.
You heard it first, guys.
Find me a safe seat.
Surely it's like Croydon Central or something.
No, Blackpool South. Surely, if you're the minister for trams, you've got to represent Blackpool.
Yep. Okay.
Chris, I'm sure you want to talk about something different to trams. I can see it in your eyes. What else has been on your mind?
It was my mum's birthday last month, and my gift to her was on Monday of this week. I was taking her to visit a house in Spitalfields in London. It's called Dennis Seaver's house, and this is one of the old sort of lovely Huguenot houses that was built in about 1700.
Stop. What's a Huguenot house?
Okay, so I'll do this very quickly. Spitalfields is really interesting because successive generations of migrants have come and left their own influence on it in a really unique way. So the Huguenots were French weavers. They were Protestants. They were persecuted in France. They found safety in the UK and they moved over, and they prospered. They did really well. They built nice houses. They set up a really nice industry on the edge of the city around Spitalfields Way, and subsequently, as they moved out and integrated in society, it's where East London Jews first moved. They moved out, and it's now where a large Bangladeshi community has moved in. So it's a really interesting place. And architecturally, the houses originally built by the Huguenots, these French Protestants, who were, largely, I think part of the reason they were so welcome was because they were talented and had a bit of money in their pockets. They just built these beautiful houses, beautiful townhouses, like 3, 4, 5-story townhouses. They must, in their day as well, they would have looked really, really interesting and impressive. And so there's a house that's been preserved to look like that, or look like it originally should have looked. An American guy, this Dennis Seaver, did it. He moved to the UK in the late 60s. He was dead by the end of the 90s. He died really, really young. But he was so into this, like, traditional English vibe. He lived in the house as if it were the 1800s. And he had no proper electricity running through the house, or running water, or even an indoor toilet.
Wow.
And so the house got preserved and it got kept in that style. I'm getting to the point. And at Christmas, the house gets opened to the public, and the rooms in it are themed throughout the last from about 300 years ago to about 150 years ago. They're all sort of done in very distinct styles to represent this Huguenot family that would have lived in there through the generations. You're not allowed to talk when you're in the house. You must walk through the house silently.
How does someone like you go and visit an attraction that you can't talk in?
I actually think, Rich, I'm very binary. I'm very on and off and on. I am very silent for long periods of time, which I think is why I'm so noisy the rest of the time. And
you are one of the noisiest men that I know.
But I think that's I do enjoy the silence, maybe because of that.
Is that because I empower you to talk?
You are a very empowering man, Rich.
Thank you.
That is true.
So you can't talk in the Huguenot house. So you're in there, you're not talking.
and you're supposed to sort of actually absorb. Also, there's traditional Christmas music, choral music playing in the background. There's the sounds of the crackling fires. Um, there's the smells of the Christmas foods and preserves and drinks that are all around there. And you're meant to sort of just go in, and it's meant to be like sort of visual, sensual, sensory experience. And there was all, there's like the oranges with the what's the spice that's dipped in it? Like
Cinnamon.
no, not cinnamon. There was lots of cinnamon there. There was lots of nutmeg. I'm trying to remember what are the little sticky things that people stick in oranges at Christmas.
Cinnamon sticks.
No, it's not cinnamon sticks. It's on screen now. If you're
cinnamon
watching on
sticks.
YouTube. It's still not cinnamon sticks.
I'm going to hack YouTube. It's going to say, no, it's not.
So what do you want it to say right now? It's going to say any word you want it to say.
Just cinnamon sticks, because people will laugh.
It's not going to say that. Anyway, Christmas, people didn't have celebrations, roses, quality street, as we've discussed a lot on the show in recent weeks. Back in the olden times, the Huguenots, they didn't even have Terry's Harlequin, mate. They had to do their own sweet treats. And actually, I quite like them. There was a lot of dried fruit, which would have been super exotic. And I'm here to get into a conversation with you and review. And I'm going to give you my top 5 dried fruits. But before I do that, tell me, are you a dried fruit guy?
There is one dried fruit that I would eat, and I love it.
It's not a prune, is it?
It's not a prune.
Good.
I'm hoping it is a fruit.
It's a fig?
No, it's not a fig, no.
You're hoping it's a fruit? A date?
It's not a date, no.
Oh, I give up.
Dried mango.
Okay. A very modern dried fruit, that one. But yes,
it's the best.
It is utterly fantastic.
Is it in your top 5?
It does make the top 5, Rich.
Okay, cool.
I stopped at an airport in Thailand once and bought the biggest bag of dried mango you could ever imagine. I think I lost a tooth because of it. It's quite. What I would say against it, though, to get it that good, it is very sugared before it reaches our tables. Because if you've ever had the unsugared dried mango, it doesn't make the top 5.
Oh right, okay.
Which is a shame. But you just don't buy that and just buy the sweetened one. Is the solution.
So what else is in the top 5?
Okay, I'll start at number 5. At number 5, okay. Before I do that, one that no way in a million years is making it. Although I know a lot of people eat these for health reasons. Prunes, fuck prunes. They're disgusting.
Yeah, not a fan.
At number 5, cranberries.
Oh, I love cranberries.
Cranberries are the 5th best dried fruit. I think that is absolutely, undeniably true. They're very healthy. They're very sweet. Got a nice tang to them. Most people like a cranberry. At number 4, raisins.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. They're decent, aren't they? Like you're never going to moan that there's some raisins going around. They make a good ingredient in a chocolate bar. They make a good ingredient in a cake. Everyone's got a bit of time for raisins. No one is going, oh, raisins are the best.
No one's raving about them, but no one's offended by them.
So they're 4. At 3, we have discussed it. It's the mango. It manipulates its way into the top 3 through dark arts, but it's still, look, I don't mind people who employ the dark arts. So well done, mango.
I'm really looking forward to finding out what's at 2 and 1, being that I love the dried mango at 3.
At number 2, figs. Oh, figs. Like the raisin, also really, really works in other treats. Really great in cakes. I love a fig roll. The flavour of fig is just super, super yummy. I actually quite like fresh figs too, but they're really expensive. Fig is an excellent dried fruit. You're looking skeptical, but you're wrong if you're skeptical for much longer.
I've got one other fruit that I would possibly consider to be at number 1, and now I'm wondering whether it is the same as yours.
Okay. I'm going to count to 3, and then we're both going to say what we think is number 1. 1, 2, 3.
Dates.
Oh! Yes!
Chris, yes!
It is the best. It
Yeah.
is the best, and it was on full display at Dennis Seaver's house. It was, and quite often they would put a nut in it. So open it up, put a little nut in it, and that, that sort of taste of the sort of the hard, crunchy, and the sticky, sticky dried dates are ooey. Put them in the air.
Can I give you a recipe for Christmas?
Yes.
Okay, so take your dried date.
Yep.
If there's a stone in it or whatever, take it out.
Please.
In that, put some manchego cheese.
I'm already in.
Drizzle hot honey over it.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't need it, but yeah, go on.
No, but no, hot honey. So it's that sweet but a little bit of tang to it. Then wrap a piece of bacon around it, and in the oven it goes.
Would it work with bacon?
Yeah, of course it would.
Sure. Okay.
Honestly, taste sensation. So good. So good.
I love dates so much.
They're amazing.
I love it when you get dates at Christmas with a stick. I love that. I mean, they're actually generally the lowest quality date you ever eat. Generally, I like them. Is it Mejdul? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Mejdul dates, I love them.
So that is it. I think we can agree. Dennis Seaver's house smells of dates. Dates are yummy. Happy Christmas. Go eat some dried fruit. 5 stars.
5-star review for dried fruit. Chris, let's take an advert right now for some dried fruit.
Well, I can't believe you spent the entire break singing to Pal once again.
Still can't get karaoke out of my head.
No.
Chris, before we go to the Patreons, one final thought that I've observed this week. Now, I know we talked about selection boxes and we've ranked selection boxes before. We've talked about chocolates. I believe we've even talked about selection boxes at Christmas already on this episode briefly. But if I've observed one thing over the last week, which is why it's pertinent for this review and mildly informed. But if I've observed this over the last 2 to 3 weeks, while selection boxes have been very much back and about and advent calendars have been opened and all that kind of stuff, nobody likes bounty. Whenever you see a selection box, it is always the bounties that are left. Saw one in the office the other day. People have been eating out of it all day. When I walked past at 7 o'clock, when the office was empty and I'd finished the radio show and was leaving, I thought, I'll go over to the selection box and I'll get a chocolate. And went over there. There were just 4 mini bounties left, nothing else. 4 of them. No one had come by going, I'll have one of those bounties. There were 4 left and people have been going like monsters all day. Go back a few years, the selection advent calendar, I can remember the uproar when on that particular branded one, day 1 behind the door was a bounty. There was a national outrage because people were like, oh, come on, I've been looking forward to this. And day 1's the bounty. I put it to you, no one likes the bounty. I have a feeling that the corporation who make the bounty may well be laundering money because I can't see that anyone's making money out of it.
Okay. Rich. The bounty is not a god tier chocolate. I accept that. But it's fantastic. I love a bounty. And I gave you the space there. I respect your opinion. More people who hold that opinion, like you, gives people like me more opportunity to eat bounty.
Now, what you don't realise that you've just done is that little 15-second moment of calmness about your love for the bounty has just shown how good trams are. And I'll explain why. Because earlier on, I described you as the most contrary man I know, and you had nothing bad to say about the tram. I then go on a rant about bounties, and in you come, true to form, you love the bounty. All right. And that shows how good the tram was, because the contrary man had nothing to say about the tram. But there he is on cue, ready to say he loves the bounty.
I'm not here to shithouse you, Rich. I genuinely love a bounty. I love a blue bounty. I love the dark chocolate red bounty. I have seen the celebrations boxes lying around. And
would you be fair then? Be fair.
Yep.
Would you also observe that generally the bounties are the ones that are always left at the end?
I do observe that they, in some groups of people, not in my house, the bounty is likely to be gone first.
The very way that you've said, in some groups of people,
yeah,
that's casting shade. All right, the way you've said that, you can't deny that. What do you mean by some groups of people?
Some groups of people aren't majorly into the bounty.
The majority of people aren't into the bounty.
Yeah, but look, 52% of people voted for Brexit, mate. Like, sometimes the majority isn't right.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
And on the whole Leave versus Remain thing, did you know that in 2022, they binned the bounty off, and the silent majority spoke out, and in 2023, they brought them back into the celebrations?
I did not know that.
Yep. Because you know what? Loudmouth bounty Farages like you bang on about it, bang on about how bad it is. But in actual fact, for some of us over Christmas, it's about all the fruit we're going to eat except for the dried fruit.
So are you equating the bounty to the Conservative Party when people are going around doing opinion polls before an election, and it looks like no one's going to vote for them, and then suddenly they get in because no one's brave enough to say, I'm voting for the Tories. Yeah. I have to review the bounty. I'm going to give it a 2-star review. That is on my observations that many, many, many people are disappointed with their presents, but there is a hardcore group of some people who do like them.
I don't have any beef with that. I think for me and all my fellow bounty people out there, might have got that from a 1 to a 2. So I'm very happy that I played a role.
And then when it's officially counted, it's probably got 5 stars.
I'm not going to say any more.
If you've got something to say, because he hasn't got anything to say, you can say it to us. You can email us, mildlyinformedpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Patreon. You can leave your comments. Obviously, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, I'm sorry we couldn't provide you that hardcore porn earlier on, or you can find us on our socials. If you've just landed on us at this point, you won't understand what was going on earlier. At Richie Firth or at Producer Chris on our socials. I wonder would it be possible to draw what was on the cards if we drew it? Yeah?
Be my guest.
I might not. Might trace it instead. We'll be back with another episode next. Imagine tracing pornography.
Desperate times.
Oh dear. We're going to go and spend some time with the Patreons. We'll see you next week.